rehabbing, everything. I'm into short-term rentals now, obviously, so we're going to talk a lot about that. And just in a 12-month time frame, our first 12 months in this business, we built the business up to be generating hundreds of thousands of dollars in gross income. So I think that's a huge success, especially like in 12-month time. And we've been passing hundreds of leads to our team as well. I have a team of real estate agents pretty much all over, but a lot in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today as well. I know many of you, you're investors, but some of you have your real estate license as well. And you may just have your license because you're an investor and you don't want to pay an agent to buy and sell properties, which is why I got my license, by the way, back in 2013. But if you're not taking advantage of being able to pass referrals, I feel like you're missing the boat a little bit. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about being able to pass referrals as well if you are running a short-term rental business. And obviously created that income, and now we are passive income and living wherever we want to live, working remotely. We're not on vacation all the time. We are working here in Cabo, but it's been an amazing journey. And I credit my journey to losing my dad. And the reason for that is because when my dad got really sick, I had to take off work for months at a time, and I couldn't work. And so that's what got us into the Airbnbs. When I first found out my dad had cancer, we ended up taking him to Mexico for a treatment, and we rented our personal property, which is what you see on the screen right here. We rented that out on Airbnb. And it was more of like, well, we're not going to be here, so we're just wasting this money. So let's just throw it on there and see what happens. And our mortgage on this property that you're looking at is $1,500 a month. We rented that property for $150 per night, and it rented for 14 nights, like as soon as we put it up there. And so that brought us in over $2,200, which paid for our mortgage and it paid for our condo in Mexico. And at that point, we were like, holy cow, I think we're on to something. And so that really started us on this entire Airbnb journey. And when you look back at all of our books, this home just last year, we lived in it for about 3 or 4 months last year, but we travel a lot. But we actually stayed there. And when I looked at the books, as far as the expenses, the mortgage, the utilities, the Wi-Fi, all of that, and then the income that we brought in from having this house and renting it, we actually lived for free for those 3 or 4 months, and we brought in an additional $3,000 last year. So I think that's a win. I call that house hacking, and you can literally do this if you're traveling. You can do this even if you wanted to create a bonus room, separate area, which is we've done that as well. And you could rent that if you're still living in the house. We've never chose to rent it while we're still living there, just because I run my business out of it as well. But it's definitely a possibility. So I'm going to talk a lot today about short terms and a little bit of house hacking as well, and midterms. So what we've noticed is obviously we've done a lot right over the years, but we've also done a lot wrong. And I want to help you avoid making the same mistakes that we did. So we had 23 properties later. These are all properties that we've used as short terms. We've also had long-term rental portfolios, but I'm not really going to talk about that today. So I'm just going to discuss a few of the lessons that we've learned over these 23 properties. So the first one is controlling the property is a lot less risky than purchasing the property. And what I mean by that is you can actually sign a lease on a property and control that property and not be responsible for the major mechanical issues like the HVAC and the roof and all of that. And it's a lot less risk for your business. And so it also allows you to earn about 4 times the income than just having that as a normal long-term rental property. Also, securing the property 80% of the time. When we're speaking to our landlords, which let me take a step back. Does everyone know what rental arbitrage is? I'm like jumping right into the nitty-gritty here. So let me know in the comments, do you know exactly what rental arbitrage is? And Jackie, I don't know if you were recording this or not. I don't see it being recorded. No. Okay.
I hit it right at the intro, so we're good.
Oh, good. Okay. So rental arbitrage it means that you're actually able to sign a lease with a landlord and you are the tenant on that lease. Okay. You sign a 1-year lease and then you have an agreement with that landlord that you are going to short-term rent that property. So you're pretty much subleasing, or some people call it a master lease. Okay. That's what rental arbitrage is. You're actually arbitraging the property because you don't own the property. You're leasing the property and then you're turning around, you're making it beautiful, you're furnishing it, you're doing all of your marketing, and you're hosting it as a beautiful short-term rental property. So that is what arbitrage is. Okay. Just needed to clarify that. So what I teach and what we specialize in is, now when we talk to landlords, 80% of the landlords that we speak to, they want us to rent their properties because of all of the pros. I mean, when you're looking at renting to someone who's doing what we're doing versus just renting to someone who's a long-term tenant, I've actually got one of our landlords on the call tonight, right? I'm not going to call you out, but I love it because our landlords are always coming to us and they're like, hey, we've got another property coming up available. And do you want to rent it? Because it's so much easier. And we know we're going to get paid on time. And you're going to keep like the property in A+ shape, because at any point in time, we have new guests coming in there. So we learned a lot about that, about how to just really talk to the landlords, and also identifying the right house and staying out of the wrong ones. And then finding your hidden business within your existing business. So I'll touch on that too. So when I say we learned the hard way, these are just some of the things that we did. We bought the homes. When we first started Airbnb, we actually bought 3 of our first properties, and we had well problems. We had one of the properties where our HVAC went out. We've had septic issues. And whenever you own the property and something major like this happens, it's coming out of your pocket, right? You're paying that $5,000. I had to pay $10,000 to hook into county water on a property that we had because the well went out, and then I couldn't get a new well on that property. It was just crap. So literally that house, it took me almost 4 months to fight with the city and get it hooked into city water. And it was just a crazy mess. I couldn't rent the property. So I lost all of that income because I owned the home, and now I had to pay to hook into city water. So that's just one of the things that happened to us. And we were like, wow, like the arbitrage way is really the way to go, because we're not on the hook for all of that. Something else is allowing local guests to book same day. I put on here, duh. Be very, very careful with this if you're doing Airbnb. Obviously, Airbnb has ways to vet people, but we just ask a ton of questions when we have someone local booking. Because they're a lot of the times they're just wanting to book it for parties. So what we'll say is, hey, we live right next door, or we have my mother-in-law lives next door. We'll be checking on you, and they'll just cancel if they're looking to party there. And then we've also signed a lease from photos, meaning we had an investor send us this beautiful property. Hey, would you please rent this property from us? Do your short-term rentals in it. It's great. It was in 5 Points. Fantastic location. And we were like, yeah, this is awesome, but she hadn't closed on it yet. And so we ended up signing a lease before we ever even saw the property. We gave her a deposit, signed the lease, everything. And then we went to go see the property after she closed on it. And it was not like, the walls were lead paint, and it was like peeling, and it was disgusting. The floors were scratched. I don't know what they did to those photos, but that was not the same condition as the photos. So be careful with that. Never sign a lease on anything unless you actually you've seen it and you've sent someone over there to see it if you're not there in person. And then tried turning one of our long-term rentals into a short-term rental. I will say that long-term rental conditions are not the same as short-term rental, meaning you can get away with, maybe some scratches on the floor, scratches on the walls. You can hide it with pictures. Rental properties are not the same. How do I say this nicely? Because we all own rental properties, right? We don't keep rental properties renovated and beautiful at all times. Okay. With a short-term rental property, we do. All right, it's updated, it's beautiful. The paint looks good, the floors look good, the tub has been reglazed probably every 6 months. It looks fresh, it looks clean. We don't let anything come up looking dirty. The baseboards are always clean. So just keep that in mind. If you do have a long-term property and you are turning it into a short-term, then you're going to probably need to put some money in it. I just did it, and we put about $30,000 into our property, just bringing it up to par to where we can actually turn that into a really nice short-term. And then allowing guests to book 2 nights. This is more so with Airbnb. So if you're only booking 2 nights, 2-night minimums on Airbnb, then you're going to run into a situation where you could get in some trouble. Meaning, if you only book the weekends, so that's only 8 nights, then you're probably going to lose money. When we're on Airbnb, we have a minimum of 3 nights. Now some of our properties, we have a minimum of 7 nights because we're going for more of the long-term tenants. And so just be careful with that. And that's really in regards to the Airbnb. And then we didn't have cameras when we first started out. But just never place cameras inside. We use the Ring doorbell, by the way. So that's, right beside the front door. We also use the Arlo cameras, and I have them facing out like on the back porch. And then I also have them facing out into the driveway. So that's just some of the things that we have learned the hard way there. And then the easy way is, again, rental arbitrage, which I just covered. You're able to spend a lot less money to get into the property, and you actually earn a lot more money each month as well. And focusing on longer term rentals, this is our COVID style. So ever since COVID, we've really been marketing to get people into our properties for 30, 60, 90 days. It's a lot less stress, especially during COVID, less cleanings, less having to abide by all of the new COVID rules for keeping your properties clean. And I say it's about the same income as just normal Airbnb. You're going to probably make more money with Airbnb. But again, it's a state of mind, right? And then marketing your properties to attract the perfect client, and just knowing like where your clients are coming from. We market to different locations that I know there's a large amount of people who are moving into the Raleigh area. And so that's who I target personally for my business. So getting started, there's a couple of ways to get started. Obviously, you can always start out if you're like brand new and you're like, I don't have the money to go like get a lease and all that. I'll talk about that in a minute. But you could start out renting a room in your own house. If you have a room, a bonus room over your garage, or if you have a little ADU or I guess guest quarters out back, you can do that with this as well. And you can just make it beautiful and then you can rent it that way. You could also partner with a landlord. So if you know a landlord and you're like, hey, whatever the mortgage is and all of the utilities, then that comes from your cut. And then anything above and beyond that, we can split that 50-50. That's a possibility as well. The landlord wouldn't be doing anything as far as like hosting or marketing. You would be responsible for all of that. And then you can negotiate who's going to be furnishing the property as well. But that's a possibility. And if you don't have the money, and I'm going to talk a little more, but it's going to cost you in my market, which is Raleigh. So we own Carolina Furnished Rentals. It cost us about $10,000 per property to get these up and going. And so if you don't have $10,000, then you can pull a HELOC on your personal property. You can do a line of credit through the bank, like a personal line of credit. You can use credit cards. Yes, you can use credit cards. Nowadays, whenever you're paying your landlords, you're paying for furniture, you're paying all of this, there's Venmo, there's PayPal, there's all of these cool apps that you can use. And yeah, you're going to have to pay a 3% fee if you use a credit card, but it's still possible, right? Sometimes you just have to bite the bullet if you're just starting out. So that's just some of the ideas for finding the money. And then discuss this, but converting a long-term rental to a short-term rental, renting from the landlord, and then arbitraging the property, which is what I do and which is what we're going to be talking about today. And then purchasing a property to fix up and build that equity. And then you can run that as a short-term, midterm for about 4 times the cash flow what you would get as a normal, long-term tenant. And the property is going to be taken care of much better.
Amanda, you're getting questions about talk with landlords and how to market. Do you want to take them at the end, or did you?
You know what? I could take them right now. So, sorry, let me get a little water here.
Oh,
Okay.
We had Tracy saying that she has tried to talk to a landlord, but nobody really wants to do it. So what do you say and how do you market it?
Okay, so what I say is really directed towards real estate agents. Okay, I am a real estate agent. I have my brokerage. I have about 130 agents that work with me. So what I say when I go into a landlord is, well, first off, you don't ever pitch them over the phone. Okay, it's all about building that relationship with the landlord and going to see the property, because only about, I would say, 20% of the properties that you go and see are actually going to be Airbnb worthy. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's not about the landlord interviewing you. It's about you interviewing the landlord and the property, because not all of them are going to work. And so what we do is we'll go into the property, we'll see the property, we'll walk around, me and Alex, my other half, will talk about the property, with the landlord, oh, I think this might work for our business, those types of comments. And then at the end, I'll say, we don't really, we're not going to be living here. So I run this as a business. I'm a real estate broker. I own, H.E. Williams Realty by eXp Realty. I have a bunch of agents. I use these properties to market to people who are relocating into the area, and they come in, they stay in these homes. We make them beautiful. And then we're actually able to take them out and show them homes so that they can move into the area. And so that's really our pitch. I do tell them that we're going on Airbnb. I tell them that we're doing short-term rentals. I tell them all of that. And I have a landlord letter that comes in a workbook that I have, and it has all of the scripts and email templates and like everything that comes out. And the landlord letter is really, really nice because it shows the pros and cons of renting to us versus just renting to a normal long-term tenant. Okay. I tried, but no one. Okay, yeah, I think I just answered your question, Tracy. Yeah, never talk to the landlord over the phone about this, because they're not going to get it. They're not going to understand, and it's really about building that relationship with them, because it's a relationship. And if you don't have a good landlord who's going to be on it to fix things, you don't want to have that relationship anyway. Because you can't have a landlord that's like, oh, the AC went out, but oh, I'll get someone out there in a week. Like, that's not going to happen. Now you're going to have to let your guests check out of the property, maybe even pay for a hotel for them because there's no AC. So it's really important to have a really good landlord. Where do you market? I do a lot of my marketing. I'm going to get to that too. I do a lot of my marketing on social media, but I have a whole section in here. The third section today is all about that. Have you or the landlords encountered issues with HOA rules prohibiting STRs? No, because I personally do not do any properties with HOAs. What is considered a good Airbnb? Just really a property that's in good shape. It's been updated, renovated. It's nice and clean, or it can be nice and clean. And I'll get into that too. So, yeah.
Hey, and Amanda, I had a question. I didn't put it in, but you mentioned it costs $10,000 to approximately to get a property up and running. If you're doing the arbitrage method and you're signing a 12-month lease, that would mean that approximately $833 a month of your profit, if you're wanting to get that 10 months back in a year, would be designated towards paying off that $10,000, right? So what's that margin? Because if it's a $10,000 investment, like when do you
check that back.
Do you know what I'm saying? Is you've got, so if you're signing a 12-month lease, and it costs $10,000 to get it up and running.
Hey, I'm in the middle of a class. Can I call you at 7:30? Okay, thanks.
Stephanie.
Oh, sorry. So sorry.
That's okay. Good to see you. Okay. Yes. So actually, let me cover that when I'm talking about this, because that makes a lot of sense here. So when you're buying the property, let's just say we're looking at a property here, a $200,000 property. If you're buying it, you're going to be putting down 20%. All right, that's 40 grand. And then you're going to have to, the closing costs, you're going to have all of that. You're going to have to furnish the property, insurance on the property, la-di-da-di-da. You're about $50,000 if you're purchasing this property versus if you lease the property, then you're paying the first month rent. You're also paying the security deposit, and then you're paying to furnish the property. So that's where I'm coming up with the $10,000. So if you're looking at like, how long is it going to take me to make this money back? Our numbers, we average about $1,000 profit per property per month. We have 15 properties. But you have to think about this. First month rent, well, you're going to rent that. You're going to get that money back within the first couple of weeks if you do what we tell you to do. And then security deposit, well, that's just money in savings. And then your furniture, that's you own it. So if anything were to ever happen, you could essentially go sell that furniture. So that's really the differences. And that's why, when we looked at this, we were like, why are we buying properties to do this with? Like, we bought 4. We're like, this is stupid. It's just so much harder to scale. We wanted to take this to a much bigger level. And so that's why we chose to do the arbitrage route, because it was just a lot easier to scale that quickly versus having all of that cash invested into the properties. So let's get into the lessons here. So I'm going to go through 3 lessons. I'm going to go through finding the properties and then furnishing the properties and then filling the properties. So the first lesson is finding the properties. So how to know it's a good property? That was one of the questions. Number 1, the location. So it's safe, convenient area, driving by there at night. Really take into consideration, you have a guest checking into your property at 10 o'clock at night and they're having to drive in, it's dark, they don't know the area. Are they going to feel safe? All right. Check out the neighbors. Are the neighbors hoarders? They're probably not going to feel safe if your neighbors are hoarders. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at the property. And that's why I say only about 20% of the properties that you're going to look at are going to fit your criteria. No HOA. I don't do HOAs. I know a lot of people who are doing Airbnb, and they're doing it in apartments and condos and townhouses, and good for them, but I don't want anything to do with it. That's not my market. I really want to stick with my single family homes. Most of mine are 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes. And the people that I'm marketing to are families who are moving into the area, and they want to come in, they want to have a house on a ½ acre or acre of land, and they want to stay there for a few months and work with us to go buy a house. So that's my market. That might not be your market. All right. And then cool neighbors. Okay. You don't want to get into a situation where you have a crazy neighbor that's going to be like, why are you here? And how long are you here? So just make sure you have cool neighbors. Sometimes what we do is we take the neighbors a bottle of wine and let them know, hey, we're running this for our business. This is what we do. And that tends to take the edge off a little bit, because we give them our number and we're like, yeah, if anything weird ever happens, just call us. We'll take care of it. Just call us. We have cameras, but just call us. And then also, I think I touched on this, but the landlord. So just making sure that your landlord understands your business. Okay. The landlord understands that you are going to be short-term renting this property, and be very upfront about that when you have the face-to-face meeting with them, or Zoom meeting. I've been doing Zoom meetings since we're here in Mexico, and it kind of worked out because of COVID. And then fixes things in a timely manner. As far as the property goes, just making sure that it has a nice curb appeal. So when you're looking at it from the outside, everything looks nice. And then updated interior, move in, easy parking. Make sure that you're not getting something with some type of crazy street parking and you have to have a pass and all that stuff. That can just really be a nightmare. And then knowing your numbers, and then I'll get to the questions here. When you're thinking about your numbers on this, you really want to think about, you're doing a minimum 3-night, okay? And you want to make sure that 12 nights, which is 4 3-day weekends, 12 nights will cover the rent that you're paying on the property. So as an example, let's just say the rent is $1,500. Well, you must be able to rent that property for $125 a night for a minimum of 12 nights, okay? That will cover your rent. Or you must be able to rent that property for $3,000 per month, okay? Remember that you also have other bills. You have the utilities, you have the power, the gas, the water, the Wi-Fi, the trash, the landscaping, you have all of that. Plus you have insurance. And so we have short-term vacation renters policies. We also have a liability policy, $1 million liability policy. If you have many properties, then you're going to want to do like a blanket umbrella policy for liability. And so you can talk to your insurance person about that, or you can reach out to me. I've kind of gone through a few insurance people when it comes to that. So let me answer some questions and then we'll get into furnishing the property. Do you ever try to get a shorter lease, 6 months, when you were just starting out in a property? No, I don't, because I'm not even going to really make my money back in 6 months, right? I'm going to make my money back in about 10 months if I'm averaging about $1,000 per month in profit. So it's not worth the move in to me. So I mean, you could just starting out just to make sure it's a good property. We've only had one property that we moved into that was it was terrible. Like we literally said, keep our deposit, let us out of this lease, and just let us go. And they did, and it was fine. All right. Okay, that wasn't a question. Let's see. What are the limitations with security cameras? The limitations, you just can't have anything inside, and you also can't have anything pointing inside. So if you have a camera at the door, it just can't be pointing inside the door. Like if the door was open, you can't see inside the property. Yeah, good question there.
Amanda, we had another one. It didn't go to everyone, but
okay.
You mentioned earlier, you talked about Airbnb, and then you mentioned 30, 60, 90-day leases. So the question was, if you're doing 30, 60, and 90, are you doing that outside of the Airbnb platform?
Sometimes. Yep. I'm going to get into that in lesson 3 when I'm talking about filling the properties. But yes, we are doing that. Yep. Awesome. All right, let's jump into furnishing. So when you're looking at furnishing your property, just remember, this is not your home, okay? This is not your style. If you're a retro style, that's probably not going to fit everyone's home decor likings. And so we try to keep our furnishings more contemporary or rustic and just clean, everything clean. So I love white, okay? I know white gets dirty, but when it's white, you can bleach it, you can clean it, and it just makes the guest feel like it's clean, right? Especially now with COVID, like that's super important. Also, having your checklist is important. We give this out in one of our workbooks where it's, you know, everything that you have here. You can find a lot of this online as well. I've just gone through and just made our own little list. But when you're furnishing these properties, you just have to remember like the little things, right? So you're literally furnishing to where someone can take their suitcase in with their clothes and they can live in this home for 3 months, and they can cook, they can bake their cookies, and they can make their pasta, and all of that is there in the kitchen. They don't have to worry about going to get any of that. We furnish with, you know, all of the kitchen utensils. We also supply the salt and peppers and the oil and just like little things, some seasoning, stuff like that. Water's in the refrigerator, just a few to get them by. We do coffee, we do the coffee Keurig cups, we do all of that, we do snacks. And so that's just something to think about, especially when you're doing your kitchen. And then as far as all of the extras go, there's a lot to that as well. But again, think you're going into this property and you just want to feel welcome. You want to feel like, you know, everything is there. We have barbecues, we have games, we have cards. Gosh, I mean, the list goes on and on. So I can get you guys this list as well. Actually, if you click here, or Jackie can put this in the comments. You can get your free downloads here. This is actually just a direct link to my site, and I have a bunch of stuff on my site, but this will take you directly where everything you need and don't need to run a highly profitable Airbnb business. And so Jackie can put that in the comment sections if you don't mind, and then you guys can click on that and get that whole list. All right, let's get into photography. So when you're doing your photos, just remember that have your property completely guest ready. So as if a guest were going to be walking in right then. We like to have the towels on the bed. We like to have, you know, the little travel size shampoos and conditioners and all of that in the bathroom. On the towel, we have makeup pads. We have all of that showing. We leave the hair dryer out on the counter so they can see that, hey, that's included. We also have all of our pictures where, like if there's a laundry room, which there is in all of our properties, we have the laundry detergent and all of that there as well. So that they know, hey, there's an ironing board, there's an iron, there's all this stuff there. Like, I'm cool, I'm set. I can go stay in this property while I'm on my business trip. And so just take pictures of all of that. What we have our photography do is we have her go in and we have her take the normal, like beautiful photos, right? That we're going to use for marketing. And then we also have her go in and take pictures of everything inside the cabinet. So all of the dishes and the coffee area, the tea area, the patio out back with the barbecue. If there's a nice sitting area outside on the deck, we have her take pictures of that. We actually just hired someone that's going to be doing some marketing for us. And she's just got some really cool ideas with setting up, you know, little outdoor areas like on the deck with, you know, 2 glasses of wine. And it just looks so inviting. And so just think about that as you're doing your photos as well. And then make sure that you're taking photos of where to park. I mean, unless it's just like a driveway, it's like, yeah, you just pull into the driveway. But if there's like a certain area, so we have a little log cabin on one of our pieces of land. We have a brick ranch, which is our rustic home. And then we have a log cabin right beside it. And so it was important to take photos of the parking situation there. So when they go in, they know, hey, I'm staying in the rustic home, I park on the left, and I'm staying in the little log cabin, I park on the right. So just think about that as you're going through your photos as well. These are some of the websites that we use for furnishing our properties, obviously Amazon and Overstock, but MayfairHotelSupply.com. This is a godsend. This is all of the hotel supplies for like all of your little shampoos, conditioners. We do shower gel, we do makeup pads, just all the little stuff that goes in the bathroom. So make sure to take a picture of that or jot that down, MayfairHotelSupply.com. We spend about $500 per house at Walmart. And what we're buying at Walmart is, I wish I could show it to you, but they actually have it at the property we're at right now. We're staying at an Airbnb here in Cabo. And there's these really nice blankets, but they're kind of thin and they're good for like a quilt, right? But you could put it in the wash and dryer and it'll be done like normal time. And so you don't want to furnish your property with the big comforters that you have to take to the dry cleaner because that can get costly, especially if you're having a lot of guests come and go. So just keep that in mind. And then we buy all of our TVs at Best Buy. You could do Costco or whatever, but just make sure you're getting a smart TV. Sorry, my voice is like, whoa. Make sure you're getting a smart TV because we don't do cable. We only do like Netflix and Hulu and all of that. And then we also do yard sale treasure map. So if you guys are not looking on like Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace and yard sales, then you're going to want to do that because there's some really cool stuff on there. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to get through this. My throat's being crazy right now. Does anyone have any questions while I'm nursing my throat?
Why don't I'll scroll through and just read them to you and you just
that would be great.
And you've been on meeting after meeting after meeting. We have, well, you just answered one. It said, can you give websites or places to go to get inexpensive furniture? So I think you just did that with the, I would assume that's Amazon and Overstock. I don't know if you do IKEA or any of the bigger warehouse stores.
Yeah, the problem is, you know, most of our furniture that we're doing, I'm not ordering a ton of my stuff on Amazon. You can, but some of the stuff right now is on back order. And like, if you're trying to get a property furnished and ready to rent in a week, you're going to be like sitting. So there's a guy, if you're there locally, we have a guy that sells us all of our dining room tables, our couches, bedroom sets. We have another guy that does all of our mattresses. And so he's their local, and we can connect you with him as well. So just reach out to me.
Great. And then Linda Jordan's on, another one of my all-time favorite people and one of the smartest ladies that I know. Has a great question. Is it easier to work with landlords since you are a real estate agent?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. It is. Yeah. I mean, you have more of a trust factor, right? You're a real estate professional. So I just feel like they just trust that more. And so, yeah, when I go in, I hand them my card, I have it on my name tag, and they like that. So perfect. Yep, Karen, I'll get that to you. I see that. Awesome. All right. If you don't have an Airbnb host account, which I'm sure probably most of you do, if you click on that link, then you get $40 there as well. Okay, let's get into filling the property. So what we do is after you get your property listed, and I'm just talking about listed on Airbnb right now, which, by the way, even if we're renting our properties off of Airbnb, I list all of my properties on Airbnb because it's so much easier to share that link. And so what you do is you'll go into your listing, and then up at the top right-hand corner, it'll say preview listing. And then all you do is you just click share, and then all of your you can go directly to Facebook, you can do whatever you want. I copy the link most of the time. And then once I copy the link, I can actually go into all of my different groups that I'm in, and I can post that in there with my own pictures and just have the link there for them to click on. So it's all about sharing. You can post your properties onto Airbnb and just hope and pray that they get booked. But if you're really wanting to get this thing booked out, then you're going to need to do your own marketing as well. I do a lot of Facebook marketing. I know that was a question earlier. So our company is Carolina Furnished Rentals. So you can go give us a like, and then you can see everything that we're doing. And so that's our business page. We also post the Airbnb links in there. We boost. I know friends don't let friends boost, but you know what? We boost. And it's worked well for us. I'm just trying to get as many eyeballs on our page as possible right now, and as many shares as possible as well. So I wish I could mute and cough, but I don't think I can mute. So anyways, so once you're on the Facebook, share that to groups. I go into all of the for rent groups and the community groups, and there's ladies of groups, like ladies of Holly Springs, ladies of Apex, and I post into a lot of those. And I also troll them and make sure that I can catch anyone who's talking about short-term rentals or moving to the area as well. And then sharing to your personal page. So doing your live videos. I don't know if you guys are into live videos, but I know I am. And so when you're doing that, just tell everyone what you're doing, because you would be amazed at how many people actually want to help you. And so they will share that out as well. All right, let's answer some questions. Do you need to rent from the owner? Oh, great question. Yes, rent directly from the owner. I have not had any success going through a property management firm. They just don't get it most of the time. So I've always just gone directly to the owner of the property. What does a boost mean? A boost is whenever you post something on a business page on Facebook, it gives you the option to be able to boost that, meaning just get more eyeballs, and you can boost it for people who already follow your page. Or like we do, I boost it for different markets. So like one of my markets is Los Angeles, California. So I will boost it so it'll get in front of people from Los Angeles, California. Okay, let's talk about earning additional income by referring the leads you receive. So first off, tell me in the chat here if you're a real estate agent. Because if there's a lot of agents, I'll go into a little bit more depth on this, but if there's not, I won't. So tell me if you're an agent. Okay, there's a lot of agents. Okay, so I'll touch on this. I'll just be really quick with it, okay? So what I love about this is you're able to grow your referral partners by creating teams of agents across the country, meaning you're an Airbnb host, okay? You have people coming in to stay in your property. If they're looking to purchase a property, then you could either sell them a house yourself, or you can refer that to an agent for a 25% or whatever referral fee. Well, 99% of the time, those people are selling a property in another state. And so it's worth asking, if they haven't listed their property yet, it's worth asking if they have an agent in that area that they're going to be listing their property with. And if they don't, then find an agent in that area that you know, like, and trust, and refer that lead out. So you're actually able to make double. You're able to make the referral commission on listing their property in whatever state they're moving from, and on referring them to an agent there in Raleigh or wherever you are that's going to be helping them purchase a property. And you're making all of the money from renting them your home as they're looking for the property as well. And so that's what I mean about, generating more than just a 25% referral fee. You're working smarter, not harder, because I know that a lot of you investors, you do have your license, but you're like, I'm not going to sell houses, and that's okay. But why not take advantage of that referral fee? I love a referral fee. I pass a ton of referrals every single month, and it's the easiest money I've ever made. So you can do that. The cool thing about it is these people who are staying in your properties, they're gonna close about 50%. So if you have, 4 people that month that are staying in your properties and they're looking for homes to purchase, then at least 2 of them will end up buying a property with one of your agents. And so I don't know if any of you are EXP, but with my brokerage, we don't just get that, but then we have another 3.5%, 4% on top of that. And that's another whole conversation, but it's just about creating the multiple streams of income. All right. So have you learned anything? I'm sorry that my voice is crazy right now. But have you enjoyed this last hour with me? Let me know in the comment sections here. So I'll talk about what we've covered a little bit. So I obviously teach how to find, furnish, and fill the properties in order to attract the right kind of guest. I guess this could work for if you're in mortgages as well. And then also how to use other people's properties to build your short-term rental portfolio. And then hopefully I've opened your mind a little bit to earning additional income by referring the leads that you are receiving to either yourself or to another agent, so you can get that referral fee. So if you get it, if you're in here, let me know who's ready here, who's been taking some notes. So I want to talk to you about what I've created, or I'm actually in the process of creating right now. I know I said earlier that I did a 3-day challenge last week. That's probably why my voice is going, actually, where I taught this for literally 8 hours, and it was all about arbitrage. But the plan is to do an entire curriculum. Okay, it's called the Halo method, and the H stands for house hacking, how to live for free. So it's going to be a whole course about that. I've already filmed the arbitrage course, and that's where I'm teaching you how to use other people's properties to build your short-term to mid-term rental portfolio. And then the L stands for lease options, where you can try before you buy. And then the O stands for owner financing, where there's no limit as to how many properties you can add to your portfolio because there's no banks ever involved. And we bought 9 properties in 2015 on owner finance terms, and amazing. I have the best techniques for that, and they always chose the high down payment, the low monthly payment. And at the time, I was like, dang it, they're taking all of my cash. But in reality, when I look back, I was like, okay, if that didn't happen, then when my dad did get sick, I wouldn't have had that passive income, the cash flow coming in from our long-term rental properties to take care of my dad and to not have to work. So, and thank God for unanswered prayers, right? So, sorry, someone's not on mute here. I was just trying to figure out who it was. Jackie, if you want to see who that is and mute them out, that'd be awesome. All right. So here's what you're going to get for being with TREIA. All right. I have this entire course. Again, it took me 8 hours to film it. getting edited right now, and I have a workbook coming out with it as well. And so the workbook's going to have all of the scripts to talk to the landlords to close the deal. It's going to have all of the objections that you're going to run into, all of the checklists that you need, like per room checklist. Also, my lease and addendum allowing short-term rentals. I have all of that in with the attorney right now, including the lease that I'm personally using for my 30, 60, 90-day guest, because I'm not doing those on Airbnb normally. So I have all of that in with the attorney. He's creating all of my forms to where it's kind of plug and play for you guys, and creating all the disclosures around that as well, because that's important. And so all of that will be in the workbook. Also, there is a private Facebook group community for all of the past and present students. And then I am going to be filming the HL&O for the house hacking, the lease options, and the owner financing here in the coming months. And so you would get VIP access into all of that. So I just did that. And I had a few people take that course with me, and it helps me to have people go through this with me. And I run it as a challenge, because the questions that come in when I'm teaching, it helps me build a better course. And so then when I send everything over to the editor, it's a really tight course, and you know step by step exactly what you need to do. So that's what you're going to get. And then I just want to ask you about money, because money always comes up, right? It's like, you know, I don't have the money or whatever. I want you to really think about the money that you've wasted in your life, right? The latte factor, the coffee, the eating out, the buying stuff that we don't need. And what we're asking you is to make an investment in yourself and learn this business and start creating multiple streams of income. Because if you don't start today, then my question is when. You know, we always talk about, oh, we got to do passive income, but the reality is you'll wake up one day and be 60, 70 years old and not have that passive income coming in. So one of the bonuses that I give you is it's a recording of how to create that $10,000 that you need to start this business. And so I do a whole video explaining the different ways that you can come up with that $10,000. So that's one of your bonuses. And then if all I did today was finally just start you on the right path to create that passive income, I just want to ask you if that would be worth it. Or maybe just give you a kick in the butt to finally get you moving. Or, hey, there's a lot of real estate agents in here. If you were able to close 4 to 6 more deals, would that be worth it? I think so. So this is everything that you're getting here, obviously, with the bonus included. Money always comes back. I know that a lot of us are agents. So every time we sell a house, you know, we get the money and then we pay all the bills and the money disappears. We got to go sell another house and again and again and again. And it's like a hamster wheel, right? You got to sell, sell, sell. And then you're never really building anything for yourself. And so it's really time to do something for yourself, and really save yourself some time and start creating that passive income, because you can use this system to close another house that pays for this entire system, right? Money will come back. So I'm excited about this bonus, actually. This bonus we filmed, gosh, it was a little before COVID hit, I guess. But with this bonus, we do Airbnb workshop tours in Raleigh, and we go around some of our properties. And so this is a 37-minute video of us doing that. Now, the workshop was way more than 37 minutes. It was an all-day affair. But my videographer got all of the goods, all of the tips and tricks and do's and don'ts and everything from that workshop, and he put it into a nice little package 37-minute video. So you would get immediate access to this as well. And so you can do this yourself, okay? I'm nothing special. I am from Raleigh, North Carolina, right where y'all are. And I spent years, you know, trying to figure this out and making mistakes and spending a bunch of money and hiring coaches and just doing everything. But what I found out was information alone won't really do it. It's all about surrounding yourself with a community. And I know you guys have a community here in TREIA, and I love the TREIA community, but you need the scripts, you need the documents, you need the templates, the support, you know, a mentor who's actually done it before and is still doing it. We are still doing it. And you can learn the hard way or you can learn the easy way. I prefer the easy way at this point. So hopefully you do too. So if you add all this up, okay, my marketing guy says, well, this is how much everything costs, right? $6,600. I don't know if that's true, but what I do know is I'm paying a boatload of money on all of my leases and addendums and everything that I have going on, creating this workbook, creating, these modules that are being created right now. They are going to be in a way that you can actually go in, you can be like, okay, I have an appointment with the landlord today. What do I say? So you'll literally be able to go into the login area, the membership area, and go exactly to that section and get the entire script for that. And so it's going to be very beneficial. It's going to be very easy to use, and you're not going to have to sit through 8 hours of content. It's going to be broken down to probably about 5.5 hours of actual content, very precise content. And then it's going to be broken down into modules from there. And so that's why he's working on it right now. It'll be done in about 3 weeks. I think our launch date's November 11th for this. And so my guarantee to you is if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to get the same results that you currently have, right? We call that insanity. But if you spend 4 weeks, and I estimate it's going to take you about 4 weeks to get through everything and do everything that I tell you to do, because there's like action steps and homework and stuff in this. But if you watch the modules and you do the homework and you participate in the Facebook group, you're not going to fail, because once you commit, I'm not going to let you fail. All right. And if you complete this course and you feel like, you know what, that was a total, that was crap, like I didn't learn anything, then I will give you 100% of your money back. I have absolutely no problem with that. My name is gold to me, especially for you guys. I've been with TREIA for 7 years. I'm from that area. So I want people to really look at us and our business and look up to us. So that's important to us. So what you're going to get, everything here again, with both bonuses, the entire course, modules, workbooks, everything is $9.97 right now. And that's the link to it. This is a pre-order. And the reason why I say it's a pre-order is because everything's getting released on November 11th, and it's going to be turnkey. So it's going to be awesome. I'm excited about it. So if you couldn't work for 6 months, and I'll just close with this, and then we're going to take some questions. Do you have passive income? Do you have enough money to be able to take a real vacation? I'm going to talk realtor talk right quick. The travel guides, right? How many of us are real estate agents and you try to take a trip and all of a sudden the travel guides come out and you get 3 or 4 or 5 new clients, and now your vacation with your loved ones has been completely derailed, and you're working the entire time. And now you're getting in fights with your husband or your spouse or whoever it is. That's real life. And what my goal is to create enough multiple income streams for all of you to where you don't have to worry with that. You can literally, you have a team around you and you can call someone, they can take care of that for you. And so that's really what the goal is here, because you've got to have that passive income to be able to get by. I mean, who knew COVID was going to hit us? Many people didn't do anything for 6 months. Many agents didn't sell for 6 months. Believe that. Yeah, it happened. And so it's really important to have that coming in. Multiple income streams, sell these homes yourself, earn 80 to 100% commissions, refer the leads out for another 25, 40%, earn an additional $800 to $1,200 per month with your Airbnb property. So, and then there's revenue share as well, which we'll talk about later if you want to. So yeah, $9.97, that's the link there. Jackie or myself, once I'm done talking here, we'll put it into the comments. And this is for the arbitrage system, all right? The house hacking, lease options, and owner financing will be coming out as well. The entire package here, once it's done, will be sold for $29.97. But you're going to get access and you're going to get discounts on everything else. If you even need anything else, you might not even need anything else. Okay. If just the arbitrage system, you'll be able to scale your business like crazy. Now, if you're looking to purchase properties, which I believe in 2021, 2022, that'll be time to get back into real estate investing as far as like long-term buy and holds, then you're gonna want to learn about lease options and owner financing as well, because that's some really creative ways to get into properties. So I just want to say thank you guys. And I would love to help you start your short-term rental, mid-term rental investment portfolio. So let me come back up here and answer some questions. Right. If you rent outside of Airbnb, are you collecting the occupancy tax? Yes, we are. It is 13% in the Raleigh area right now. So just keep that in mind. And also keep in mind that you're not getting that extra policy, that extra insurance policy with Airbnb. Airbnb has that $1 million policy for host, but if you're not on Airbnb, just be sure that you have a policy included, okay? What's the best ways to connect with you? I definitely need the local guy's number for purchase furniture. Okay, yes, I could do that. I'm Amanda the Traveling Realtor everywhere. So you can Google Amanda the Traveling Realtor and I will pop up, I promise you. But I know that there'll be, I think, an email going out after this as well. And then if you click on the link that Jackie posted earlier about the downloads, then you'll get into my system. But feel free to send me a message. I mean, just send me a message on social media. Off topic. Oh, okay. Tracy, I'm in Pedregal in Los Cabos. Do you sign leases under your company name? Oh, great. I do all of that under my company name. Now, when I first started, I didn't have a company name. So I did my very first one under my personal name. And I teach you all of this in the course, but it's very important as well. If you don't have credit, you're going to need to partner with a credit partner because their landlords are going to want to see your credit. And some of them, like in the beginning, they pulled our credit. I think the first two, actually, they wouldn't take my Credit Karma report. I was like, can you just use this instead? And they're like, no. So they did pull our credit, but that's okay. You know, you got to pay to play sometimes. And if you don't have great credit, then just find someone who does have great credit and partner up with them on this and just at least get the first few running. And then after that, you have a track record. And at this point, you know, all I got to do is talk to a landlord, like show them our website, show them everything that we have. And we have 15 properties. Like they're not pulling my credit anymore. Many of them don't even ask for my Credit Karma report. I'm like, here's my credit. I have good credit. And they're like, oh, it's fine. I'm like, okay, whatever. But you'll get to that point. But again, it's all about building your name as well. And, you know, keeping your name good. I think that's the most important thing. Do you sign? Yeah, I already did that. Was there any other questions? Yeah, so that's the link there in the chat for you guys. Perfect. Yeah, and if you click on that link, there's a lot more information in there as well. That's a whole page that we've created for you. And I did a little video for y'all as well. All right. Any other questions? And if you want to unmute yourself and ask, feel free to do that as well. We have about 15 minutes left if you guys want to talk. My voice is coming back, so that's good. I just had a little section there. Sorry.
Aren't you doing another session after this on the West Coast?
I am. I'm talking to the real estate investor goddesses on the West Coast out in California. That'll be fun. All right. How big is your team when you're not home? Okay, so I don't know if you're speaking about my EXP team or my team for this company. I'll talk about this company. So Carolina Furnished Rentals has myself and Alex. We are the owners, okay? And then we have Glenn, who is our manager, and he does everything. So we lucked out, guys. This does not normally happen, but Glenn was a high school friend of ours. We've known him forever, and he does everything. Like he literally cleans our properties. He has people that help him as well when he gets super busy, but he cleans, he does all of our landscaping. Well, not all of it, the majority of it. And then he also does anything like if anything breaks. One thing that we do with our landlords is we tell them that if anything under $200 breaks, then we take care of it. If it's anything over $201, then they take care of it. And they tend to like that because we're not going to be calling them for little stupid things. Okay, they know that. So Glenn's our handyman. So yeah, that's our team. I had my mom. I put my mom to work. She helps clean, and like if a guest needs something that is not there, like for instance, wine openers or something that tends to grow legs and run away sometimes. And so if a guest messages us and say, hey, there's no wine opener. Well, number one, Glenn, you should have checked to make sure there's the wine opener, because that's the one thing you have your cleaners check every single time because they run away. So she'll go and drop off a wine opener, or if they need something special, then she'll go drop it off for them. So she likes it. She has fun with it.
And Manny is asking, he said, earlier you said no HOA, but does that also include single family homes with an HOA?
Not really, unless it's like a crazy HOA neighborhood. So I try to stay away from the neighborhoods that the houses are just like right up against each other. The houses that I want are, you know, they've got some privacy around them. And if the homeowner is paying a few $100s a year in HOA, then that's probably not going to be a big deal. They're not going to be like down our throats on it. And so, yeah, I'm okay with that. I just don't want a HOA like a townhouse HOA or a condo. And I've said this from the beginning, guys. This is a lesson. I was begged to take on this townhouse. I mean, begged. Like the landlord was like literally in tears. Like, if you don't take it, I'm not going to be able to move. Like, oh my gosh. And so I gave in and I took it. And she promised me that the HOA was fine, which the HOA is fine with it. She promised me that the neighbors were fine. Everything was fine. Like, this is going to be a great property. And I was like, okay, we'll do it. You let your emotions get involved and you get in trouble. Well, then our very first guest that we had in that property, the neighbors went ballistic because it was on Airbnb, and they came over and they started hounding our guests, like, how long are you here and why are you here, and just like craziness. And they did that for like our first 3 guests on Airbnb. And so we took it down. We were like, we can't have this. Like, this is going to get us a bad rating. And if you get a bad review with Airbnb, you might as well just go ahead and shut your whole account down and start over. I mean, there's really no way to like come back from that. You have to keep a really good rating, like almost 4.9, to keep your Airbnb status as a 5-star, host, super host. So we ended up just taking it and just saying, look, we're only doing 30 days and we're renting off Airbnb. And so she's been okay now, but it was a huge lesson. It's like, don't let your emotions get involved. Just, it's business. I'm sorry. This is a business decision and this is our rule and I'm sticking with it. So, but I mean, it's fine. It's renting now, but don't do that.
What about Raleigh? So many people are saying stay away from Raleigh because it's not Airbnb friendly and you can get turned in. Are you, is that out of scope for you or?
Yeah. That was voted on back in January when we got all of the new elected officials in. So we got 7 of 8 in that we needed, and they're all pro Airbnb. So I don't care about that at all at this point. I mean, unless the rules changed again, but I don't think they did. I think someone would have told me. I have been in Cabo since July, but we haven't gotten in trouble for anything. So everything's great. Yeah, I wouldn't worry with it. If you're in Raleigh, it's fine. That was only for the city limits of Raleigh anyway. And we only have, I think, 2 properties in the city limits of Raleigh. Everything else that we have is on the outskirts. Have you ever had bad guests? Yes, we have had bad guests. And we had the bad guests because we were allowing same day locals to book our properties, which is a huge no-no. That's like red flags. I'm going to have a party in your property tonight. So that was our party house, one of our party houses. And also it doesn't happen anymore. And the reason for that is because we question them like crazy. Like, as soon as they book with us, and this is on Airbnb, but as soon as they book with us, we're asking them, why are they coming into the area? Just all kinds of questions. And we do say, we're like, hey, our mother-in-law lives next door, or the owner of the property lives across the street, which is true in some of the situations. We're here, we'll be driving by, if you need anything, let us know. We can just stop in. It's super easy. And so we just say all kinds of stuff like that. And then they are like, they get scared. And if they're going to have a party, then they're going to go ahead and cancel. We also let them know that there's cameras. So our cameras, we have a camera, we have our Ring doorbell, which is on the front of the property. And then we also have, in the majority of our properties, we have the Arlo cameras, which are like the little white cameras you can buy on Amazon. And then that will be like facing, it'll be above the back door, but facing out like onto the porch, because you can't face it inside. And then also on the driveway. So we have those, not in all of them, because some of them we just don't feel like we really need it. But that's definitely a security measure. Do you manage the bookings yourself or one of the services that you can hire? So Alex, my other half, my business partner, he takes care of all of the messaging. We have outsourced this. So two things. When you have more than 5 properties, you can sign up to be on Guesty, which is another platform. And with that, you can automate. So we have about 5 messages that go out, and they're all automated messages. So when someone books, they get a message before they check in. As soon as they check in, they get their check-in instructions, their checkout instructions, how are you doing, text, and then a text after they leave as well about, hey, we need a 5-star rating pretty much. But that Alex takes care of the messaging. Like if they message us during their stay, we've tried to have other people handle this, but you really have to have very good customer service skills because the guest is always right. The guest is always right. If you want your 5-star review, the guest is always right. And you try to make it better for them. Okay. And even if they're just asking really dumb stuff, it's just a matter of, you know what? Take the other freaking bathroom rug over there. We had a guest one time. We had a rug, bathroom mat in front of the shower and in front of the sink. We only had 2. But that particular bathroom had a jacuzzi tub as well. We didn't have a rug in front of that. And so the guest literally messages us and is like, I slipped when I got out of the bathtub because there wasn't a rug there and you need to have a rug there. And we were like, would you like us to bring you a rug? And she was like, no, that's fine. I just want you to know that I slipped and I could have fallen. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry. You could have very easily moved the rug. I didn't say that, but I'll bring you a rug if you want a rug. So yeah, you're going to run into all kinds of stuff, guys, all kinds of stuff. In my course, I go through like 20 minutes of all of the crazy stuff that's happened to us and really what we've put in place to avoid all of that now. Because the only way that you learn is you have a situation and you're like, oh, okay, let's add that into our lease here, or let's add that into, whatever we're doing. But that's really the only way that you learn all this. Do you manage the book? Okay, I think I already answered that. Yes. So that is Guesty, GUESTY.com. All right. Any other questions, guys? Y'all are a quiet group tonight.
I just think you did a great job answering them as you went along, Amanda.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I see so many faces that I know. It's good to see you guys.
Oh, you have one last question that popped up, and this will probably have to be the last one. But always a question for rentals of any duration. Do you allow pets in your rentals?
Great question. Try to say no. The reality that's going on right now, which I don't agree with, and I'm sorry if I offend any of you, but a lot of people are going and getting their animals, their dogs and cats registered as service animals. And there is nothing we can do about it. If it's a service animal, we cannot treat it as an animal. And it's the same as, landlord tenant laws, right? You just have to deal with it. We can't even charge a pet fee, which is ridiculous to me. But that's the law. So yeah, we're having to deal with that. And I think people are just getting smart around that and saying, oh, I can go, easily register my dog as a service animal and I can take my pit bull with me anywhere I go, which is just insane. But that's it. So we do have a couple of our properties that are dog friendly. They're properties that we own personally because my last tenants, one of the properties is my grandma's house, which used to be a long-term rental for me. And now it's the rustic farmhouse, but we have a fenced in yard in the backyard. And we also have a little dog house out there. So that one I'm totally cool with. We do charge though. We charge a $100 pet fee. And we don't do deposits, by the way. When we're booking off of Airbnb, we're not doing deposits because I am a licensed agent and I cannot take a security deposit unless I have an escrow account, and I do not have an escrow account. So we're not doing that. And we're also only doing 30-day at a time. I'm not signing a lease with someone for 3 months at a time because then I'm going to fall into landlord tenant law and I'm not going to get involved in that. I'm going to do 30 days or less. And if you want to stay with me for 3 months, I will re-sign your lease every 30 days. Oh, hi, Rick. Good to see you. All right. I think that was it, guys.
Amanda, thank you so much. Guys, wasn't this great?
Yep, that was really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, lots of good information. I have it recorded. Usually it takes us a couple of days to download, but we'll put it up on the website. If you go to and look for this meeting, which was October 27th, if you go to the calendar, you'll see a line through it because the meeting's over. Click on it anyway. It'll take you to the meeting page. If you scroll down to the bottom, once the recording's there, it'll have a link to the recording. So how you do it.
Awesome. Lots of messaging coming in. So yes, you know what? I'm just going to put my, email here for you guys.
I thought they'd get you there. Go. It's a good group.
All right, there you go. That is my personal email address. And then, like I said, if you click on the link, you'll get to me as well. So, and my website, oh, that's my website. Okay, hold on. It's pretty much the same. It's just at Gmail.
Amanda, the traveling realtor
Yeah, there you go.
at gmail.com.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining. Thanks, Amanda. And
Thank
we
you,
will.
guys.
We'll
If you want to come to Cabo, let me know. We're here till March.
so jealous. So jealous. And don't forget about Wire on Thursday, 12 o'clock. So we'll see you in a couple of days.
Awesome. Thanks all.
Bye.
Thank you.